I just realized I've done 20 Words of Wokism videos and I've never done identity. How weird is that? It ought to have been number one. As a woke word, identity is everything. It really is. Everything we're seeing, even, the DEI, right? CRT, SEL, the rise in anti-Semitism, Black Lives Matter, the people chanting for genocide on the streets, MAGA, all of it. This is all based on the notion that people are not greater than the individuals. Individuals are not only not individuals anymore, they're representatives of groups, but they're not greater than the sum of these markers, or they're not even parts, labels. Some of them are vocations, some of them are ethnicities, some of them are religions. Like all the descriptors, adjectives that you could use to describe yourself. That's no longer, the you that is you, your identity, the thing that makes you unique in all the world, doesn't exist anymore. That list defines you. That list of stuff. And there are good ones and there are bad ones, acceptable ones and unacceptable ones, depending on the environment you are in. So if you're on the left, you align with the left politically, or even just philosophically, if you're woke in that way, then everybody who doesn't fit in the oppressed category has all this work to do to be in your good graces. Even if you are not in the oppressed category, if you're an oppressor, but you're doing all the work, you're, really being very mindful of the work you have to do to check your privilege and, be less white and all this kind of stuff, then, you can keep doing the work and you get to stay over there with the oppressed people, and, they'll amiably tolerate you and so forth. But you're now obliged to pretty much shame and guilt and hate all the people who aren't going to do the work, who have the same, list of stuff that you have. None of them are individuals. They're just the bad people. And the same is true on the other side. The same is true. If you think that the people who are pushing the DEI and the SEL are all, the worst people in the world, and you mostly hang out at, Trump rallies, and, you absolutely 100% fit in with that, but then somebody like me wanders in and you're like, yeah, Deb, you're awesome, it's great, we love your work, you're so anti-woke, blah, 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 you're fantastic, whatever, and I say something along the lines of, yeah, but, I don't like Donald Trump, I don't like him, I don't like this, I don't like that. I start listing things off. You want to watch how fast people will just turn on me like I am some kind of horrible contagious disease? So they love my work when I'm talking about the things they want me to talk about. Well, I'm really opposed to this, opposed to that, blah, 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 blah. And then I come in and say, yeah, but I'm not MAGA. I'm not a fan of your guy. I hope he doesn't win. Rhino! Squish! Oh, what are you, a closet Democrat? Crypto woke? Bleh. They might as well be saying oppressor. Check your privilege. It's really not any different. It's not any different. Now, that said, I'm less likely to get beat up over there than over here, but that's just a matter of time, really. So it's the same impulse. It's the same impulse that Deb's not Deb. Deb's either with us or against us. Deb fits the list or doesn't fit the list. Deb has the right attitude or the right opinions or the wrong opinions. She has the right, identity markers or the wrong ones. She values each and every one of them exactly as we would have her value them, of course. So, you better value being, a wife and a mother and a this and that, and that just exactly the way we want you to. And could you just, de-emphasize the Jewish thing maybe a little bit? That'd be good, because, I get that from both sides. If I'm talking to somebody who's on left of woke and they can't figure out what to make of me, and I tell them I'm a Zionist, well, definitely an oppressor. Horrible person. Yeah, same thing. You people are going to drag us into this war. You killed my savior. Whatever. But it's you people. It's me. It's Deb. It's just me. But identarians don't see it that way. And you can tell if you are one or not by how you react to this video. So, if you identify with my criticisms of identarianism, and if you're feeling a little twitchy and angry at me right now, guess what? I hate to break it to you, but you have a woke idea of identity. If, on the other hand, you're like, shoe doesn't fit, she's not talking about me, then there's no need to be mad at me, is there? I'm not talking about you, am I? But you probably know who I am talking about. So, that's the concept, the woke concept of identity. Do you define yourself by others? Do you define yourself by an arbitrary list it could be written down literally, or it could just be sort of like in your head where you go scoping the internet and you say, somebody said something bad about people I like or people I identify with, must attack. That's an identarian. That's what it is. Now, there's a big difference. You'd be like, well, come on, Deb, I shouldn't defend people. That's not what I said. It's how much do you take it on yourself, like, how dare you, okay? If it's more like, why do you say that? What evidence do you have of that? Or I disagree. I voted for Trump, but I don't agree with that, or whatever. Like, if you are inclined to call them out on their collective shame, their collectivizing of people like you, whatever, that share some of your views, then guess what? Congrats. You're thinking like an individual. If you find yourself agreeing with some people who don't agree with you about everything and you're willing to say so, congrats. You probably have a unique individual identity. But if somebody says anything critical of, your Biden or Trump or Palestinians or whatever, Jews, and you're like, freak out, you might be an identarian. And I know that some of you out there are going, aren't you a hypocrite? People say critical things about Jews and you jump right over them. I'm like, no, I don't. No, I don't. People say all the time, and I'm one of them, I don't understand why so many, not all, obviously not me, not plenty of people I know personally, why do so many Jews reflexively vote against their self-interest? Similar question that I know some of the people I know who are black say about other people who are black. They don't say black people always vote this way. They just say, I don't get why demographically there's such a heavy, a heavy preference for the Democratic Party. Well, also the same thing about Jews, and that's a criticism. I've been very critical lately of progressive Jews specifically for the way they have let all this DEI stuff go, and they've bought into it and bought into the identarianism that their politics became more important than not their Jewish identity, but their just pride in their own heritage. Not a false pride, not an arrogant pride, but just I am me, and this is my religion, and this is my culture, and this is my background, and I'm not ashamed of it, and I'm proud of it, and I'm going to go live my life like anybody else who actually wants to live a Jewish life. Because that's a life I'm chosen. It's not an identity. I mean, I'm going to be a part of an identity, but it's not like all of who they are. But even then, they put politics ahead of that. Being accepted in the community ahead of what supposedly mattered to them as individuals they were choosing for their lives. So I've been very critical. Being a Zionist doesn't mean you're not critical of the Israeli government. I've been very critical of them too. But when I see somebody going, Jews this and Jews that and Israel this and Israel that in a collectivist fashion, all guilty, bet your ass I'm gonna run in and say something. But guess what? I would do that even if I weren't Jewish. So does it go, well, you would say that because No, I'm saying it because it's the right thing to say. It is a little more meaningful, perhaps, to me to speak up and say something because it does concern me more than somebody who might not be Jewish, but I would like to believe it concerns decent human beings everywhere, not just Jews. You don't need to be Jewish to be appalled at what's going on. And it would be identitarian of me if I said you did. I don't own fear right now. I don't own frustration right now. I don't own being absolutely horrified right now. It just affects me a little bit differently. Hopefully not a lot differently, ever. But that's it. That's it. It's weird. It is weird realizing that something that was never who you saw yourself as, right? I'm Jewish, but I don't walk around being like, this is my identity. This is all of who I am. It's so very important to me above all else. And it's weird that suddenly there's so many people around you that want to kill you for something that was just a part of you. It's just, it's important to me, but it's not as important, believe it or not, as other things. I am not ashamed. I am proud. I love my heritage. I love, everything about it that I've chosen to incorporate into my life. And I would defend anybody else's right to incorporate it more or less, whatever they want to do. But it's not who I am. And yet there are people who want me to die anyway. Me and every other person who has any connection to being Jewish. That's what identitarianism does. It tells me who I am, whether I agree or don't. Oh, well, you're a liberal. Oh, well, you're this. Oh, well, you're that. Do you get to define me? No, you don't. I get to do that. And I would caution people, be careful when you do. Take care how you choose your identity. Because if you choose it in such a way to align with what other people are calling you or what other people say you should be or what you think other people want you to be, that's where you end up. That's where you invariably end up. I'm ending up there completely against my will. And it sucks. So I can promise you that if you place yourself in a position where you're going, I'm a this and I'm a that and I'm a the other and I'm a this and that and I'm impressed or I'm an oppressor or whatever, that will not work out in the long run. You will have very little room to move if you need to change your mind. Or if you just wake up and realize that the people around you do not share your values, but you have built an entire life around being one of them. What are you going to do? Where are you going to go? How are you going to extricate yourself from that? Because it is a lot harder when you begin to believe that's who you are. It's not just I'm going along with it, but where that you think it's who it. That's why you see the rage from some of these people who are like, I'm not really a man, I'm a woman, whatever. They've decided that their identity that they've assigned to themselves, that they want to attach to themselves, is everything. It's not their ideas or thoughts in their head or anything like that. It's these markers, their status as this kind of person, this label of person, not kind of person like a nice person, kind of person like a decent person, kind of person like a rational person, honest person. No, kind of person like trans, kind of person like Christian, kind of person like Jew, kind of person like Republican, kind of person like Democrat, progressive, Marxist, communist, union member, whatever. Tick, 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 tick. When you hear me say, I'm a Jew, it's like saying I'm a woman. It's a descriptor. That's it. It's an adjective. It is not my entire being. I believe what I believe and I say what I say because I think it's right. Because this up here. Not because I have to tick boxes. So, to sum it up, the woke definition of identity, which is absolutely poison, is a doctrine of external locus of control, it's other-centric. It's focused almost exclusively on lists of groups. It's collectivist, it's not individualistic, it is irrational, it's tribal, it's regressive, And it results in exactly what we're seeing, this kind of polarization where there is no dialogue because everybody is just falling in line with their tribe. So none of this is news to most of you, I'm sure. But I just had to articulate it because I couldn't believe I hadn't made a video about identity yet. It needed to be included in the collection. So, and as I said, this has been tough for me lately because I've never been an identitarian. I've never been a person to walk around and go, I'm a Jew, this, blah, blah, blah. It feels weird even doing it now. I'm doing it more out of a sense of obligation to stand up and be counted amongst the 16 million of us who are left, us being people who believe the things we believe, people who are proud of the heritage we have. We're not all on one team, okay? And because other people have decided to single us out. Others decided that we needed to be singled out for harassment, torture, murder, etc. And I feel like it would be wrong if I didn't say, me too? Me? Am I one of the ones you want dead? Am I one of the ones who needs to be punished? Because I'm an individual. And when you speak about Jews or it didn't happen in a vacuum or whatever, you're talking about me. You're talking about me, the individual. You're not just talking about some amorphous blob. You're talking about me, and you're talking about 16 million other individual people, individual souls, regardless of what they have decided for themselves, meaning like even if they're walking around identitarians, that's something they're gonna have to deal with. But I will persist in seeing them as individuals, just like I insist and will persist in seeing each and every one of the people marching against Israel as individuals and holding them individually accountable for their choice to belong to these identity groups and behave in the ways they are behaving. And unless and until we call each and every one of them out as individuals, hey Susie, hey Bob, hey Ahmed, hey Jonah, hey Bill, why are you personally doing this right now? They will continue mindlessly like little sheep to follow the smelly butt in front of them because their eyesight is clouded. So, anyway, that's what I have to say about identity. Think about it. Are you an accidental identitarian? Are you accidentally woke in this one or not? If you are, just stop doing it. I highly recommend it.